Good day everyone. Today we were going to tackle about goal setting and happiness. Many people pursue goals that they expect will make them happy, but happiness isn't always the end result. There are people who will put everything they have into one aspect of their life, such as their careers, at the expense of their personal lives, only to wonder years later why they are successful and still unhappy. It is all too common for people to be surrounded by beautiful homes, expensive cars, and designer clothes, have hundreds of Facebook friends, and still have less personal satisfaction within their life if they did not have all that extra stuff. Majority of the people are actually looking for pleasure when they search for happiness. Example of this includes good food, more sex, new phone, more time for online gaming and movie marathon and so on. And according to study, those who render their time and energy in worldly and transient pleasures eventually become more anxious, emotionally unstable, and less happy. So setting goals, accomplishing them, being successful but still unsatisfied, it happens because a person invests himself in fulfilling desires and consolation that mask their emptiness and discontentment temporarily. So then, how is one know which goals will provide personal happiness and which ones will not? Happiness. It is a mental state of well-being that is characterized by a range of positive emotions. Positive psychology experts have endeavored to find the answer to questions focusing on what happiness is and how we might attain it. Happiness definition varies from one person to another. However, psychologists define happiness as a state of mind that involves positive emotions and life satisfaction. Another definition of happiness is suggested by an ancient philosopher, Aristotle, that happiness is the only human desire and all other human aspiration exists as means of obtaining happiness. Goal setting involves deciding what you want to accomplish and devising a plan to achieve the result you strive for. Goal setting encompasses a major component of personal development and is viewed as an effective tool for making progress towards goal by ensuring that a person has a clear awareness of what they must do to achieve their objective. So setting goals is a process that starts with careful consideration of what you want to achieve and establishing measurable and timely goals. It is a highly effective method of visualizing your ideal future and inspiring yourself to turn your vision into reality. There are 4 guidelines in achieving goals. First, goals should be challenging but realistic and attainable. If you set goals that are too easy, you will reach them without much difficulty, which will not provide you with a real sense of accomplishment. In setting goals, it should be realistic and reachable within the given time and resources, and at the same time, challenging. Completing this kind of goals will keep you motivated and you can feel highly rewarding. Furthermore, it will push you to learn, grow, and hone your skills, inspire you to work on other goals, provide a sense of pride, and boost your confidence in facing more challenging goals in the future. Second, avoid focusing on goal attainment. It is not possible to judge whether every goal made will ultimately be attainable. It is more than likely that you will not reach every goal that you set for yourself. Sometimes it is inevitable that people fail to accomplish their goals that they set for themselves. Therefore, avoid focusing on the outcomes, focus on the process instead. For example, you set a goal to lose 25 pounds. So, you set a goal to exercise for at least 10 minutes every day. Third, continuous goal setting. Goal setting is a process that never ends. Once one goal is achieved, another goal with a different direction should be created to take its place. As an old cliche says, in every end, there is a beginning. Once one goal has been successfully achieved, another goal arises. So you need to move forward by setting a new and an even larger goal with different direction that you want to achieve. And lastly, feedback. Having consistent feedback contributes to the effectiveness of goal setting. According to a study from the University of Texas, goal setting is effective, but receiving feedback produces a much stronger effect. Hearing feedback is necessary so that you can assess yourself whether if you're making a progress or not. And according to Locke and Gotham, feedback helps you to know what you're doing and how you are doing. And this allows you to adjust your expectation and your plan of action moving forward. To wrap it up, setting goals provide direction and sustain momentum in your life, boost your confidence and motivation. Thus, the act of setting, achieving, and surpassing goals is significant because that will make living your best life possible. And remember this advice from a Scottish American industrialist and philanthropist, Andrew Carnegie, that if you want to be happy, set a goal that commands your thoughts, liberates your energy, and inspires your hope.
The darker side of goal setting. Temporary happiness. Instant gratification predominates in today's society. Situations arise where specific goals may lead to temporary happiness. Often this brief happiness is associated with the lesser good, which promises immediate pleasure and is more tempting in comparison to the greater good, which may require more sacrifice and effort. It is, however, difficult to achieve true happiness through goal setting simply by enjoying the pleasure of the moment. For example, while it may be more enjoyable to spend the night watching TV or out at a bar, but you know you will be better off if you spend the time working on an assignment. Spending the night watching TV or out at a bar will only give us short-term pleasure or happiness, while in making our assignments, it may take us more sacrifice and effort, but at least it will lead us to the greater good. What is self-compassion? Drawing on the writings of various Buddhist teachers, self-compassion can be defined as being composed of three main components, such as self-kindness, a sense of common humanity, and mindfulness. Self-kindness. Its self-compassion entails being warm and understanding toward ourselves when we suffer, fail, or feel inadequate, rather than flagellating ourselves with self-criticism. It recognizes that being imperfect and experiencing life difficulties is inevitable, so we soothe and nurture ourselves when confronting our pain rather than getting angry when life falls short of our ideals. We clearly acknowledge our problems and shortcomings without judgment so we can do what's necessary to help ourselves. We can't always get what we want. We can't always be who we want to be. When this reality is denied or resisted, suffering arises in the form of stress, frustration, and self-criticism. When this reality is accepted with benevolence, however, we generate positive emotion of kindness and care that help us cope. Mindfulness. Mindfulness is a non-judgmental, receptive mind state in which thoughts and feelings are observed as they are without suppressing or denying them. You can't ignore your pain and feel compassion for it at the same time. When we have self-compassion, we are aware of our own hurtful thoughts and emotions without blowing up their significance through rumination. Instead, we adopt a positive balance between this over-identification at one extreme and completely avoiding painful emotions and experience at the other. Common humanity. One of the biggest problems with harsh self-judgment is that it isolates us. When you notice things you don't like about yourself, you rationally feel that other people are perfect and you are inadequate. This is not a logical process, but a kind of perverted selfishness. Focusing on your own shortcomings narrows your horizons and only sees your weak and worthless self. Similarly, when something goes wrong in our outer lives, we find it somehow easier for others that our own circumstances are unusual or unfair. When our experiences are interpreted from the perspective of a separate self, we have trouble remembering that similar experiences of our fellow humans, like the dying 84-year-old man whose final words were, "Why me?" Self-compassion phrases. When you're feeling stress or emotional pain, perhaps you are caught in a traffic jam, are arguing with a loved one, or are feeling inadequate in some way, it's helpful to have a set of phrases memorized to help you remember to be more compassionate to yourself in the moment. You can take a deep breath, put your hand over your heart, or gently hug yourself if you feel comfortable doing so, and repeat the following phrases. I accept the best and worst aspects of who I am. Changing is never simple, but it's easier if I stop being hard on myself. My mistakes just show that I'm growing and learning. It's okay to make mistakes and forgive myself. I am free to let go of others' judgments. It's free for me to show kindness to myself. I deserve compassion, tenderness, and empathy from myself. I release myself with forgiveness from today and move forward with self-love to tomorrow. Every day is a new opportunity. I won't let self-doubt or judgment hold me back from the future. I forgive myself and accept my flaws because nobody is perfect. I'm not the first person to have felt this way, and I won't be the last, but I'm growing. And lastly, this is a moment of suffering. Suffering is a part of life. May I be kind to myself. May I give myself the compassion I need. And that's all. Thank you. Self-compassion recognizes that life challenges and personal failures are part of being human, an experience we all share. In this way, it helps us to feel less desolate and isolated when we are in pain.